Good evening. The April 27, 2022 monthly meeting of the Dickenson County School Board is now in session. For the record, I'd like to recognize that all school board members are present, as well as Tanya Baker, Board Clerk, Scott Mullins, School Board Attorney, and Mr. Robinson, Division Superintendent. At this time, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board members, we have an agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, we only have one slight word revision on item L. Instead of approval, it's an update of the 457B retirement option for employees. So we will change that to an update, sir.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda with the word change to update?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. That brings us to our public comment section. Mr. Hackney, will you please read the public comment guidelines?
A period of time for public comment will be designated on the meeting agenda during which the public may comment on issues related to public education. The Dickenson County School Board believes that citizens of the county should be heard and that this is an acceptable format for receiving public comment. After the public comment section of the meeting is closed, the public shall not be allowed to participate in general board member discussions regarding agenda items. Public participation with the board members regarding agenda items can be disruptive, and the practice is prohibited by Robert's Rules of Order. It is the desire of the school board to treat each member of the public fairly and equally. Allowing one individual to participate while excluding others is unfair. The board may hold such public hearings as may be necessary to allow the public more fully express their concerns, or the board may place the public comment section of any meeting at the end of the meeting to allow additional public comments. While we do not wish to restrict the free expression of opinion, we feel that certain restrictions may be necessary so that order and reasonable standards of decorum may be maintained. We ask that the following standards be adhered. The speaker will be recognized by the chair. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. Speakers will refrain from the use of vulgarity or profanity and will avoid negative, embarrassing comments directed toward specific children or students. Board members should not respond to issues presented by speakers unless clarification is necessary. Matters of concern raised under public comment will be referred to the proper official for investigation and future board consideration if necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Hackney. Ms. Martin, will you be our timekeeper? This time the board would like to recognize Kathy Music with VPE.
Good evening, Chairman Hicks, Mrs. Robinson, members of the board. As he said, my name is Kathy Music, and I work for Virginia Professional Educators, and I handed you out a brochure that tells all about what VPE is, but in that there is, about the third page, a sheet that tells about the grants and scholarships. And as the school year ends, I know everybody's SOL crazy right now, but it's a good time. I know as a teacher, this kind of time of year, I was always, okay, what do I want to do next year? And we give grants and scholarships twice a year. The second submission is in June, so it's a good opportunity for teachers to say, well, next year I want to do that language units, and I need to order a classroom set of books. those kinds of things. So I just wanted to remind people that we do this twice a year. We're nonprofit. Every bit of, after all the bills are paid, it all goes back to teachers in the classroom. And so a lot of people receive, and you don't even have to be a member to do this. So anyway, the fall submission, or the spring submission date is June. And so I just wanted to get the word out there if there's anybody that needed that. Also, you can get a scholarship if you're taking a class, or if you wanted to attend a seminar to improve over the summer, they could apply for $500 to help them with that. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Music. This time we'd like to recognize Phil Smallins with DEA.
Good afternoon. Just a few things that are going on. Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up, and of course, we have some things planned for that. I was in touch with our UniServe director, and my understanding is that all charter school bills have been killed in the General Assembly. So that is good news for us. Of course, there is no budget to speak of, state budget, but I think our budget is good. I like what is in our budget, and I'm hoping that it will go through, and I will do everything I can to help push it through. So thank you for your work and effort, and I know it was a lot of time, but thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mullins.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next agenda item is the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes, approval of monthly bills, discussion of school activity funds, approval of field trips, approval of elementary school construction invoices, and the approval of bank reconciliation documents. Any questions or discussion on the consent agenda? Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Our next agenda item is information for the school board. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks and board members, and with the board's approval, I'm going to do the next two items quickly, so that, because there isn't much in the information for the board, and we have guests here, but the students and families that we would like to recognize. Information from the school board, you will see the workshops that are available for board members, USBA virtual conferences and seminars. Again, as you look at any of those, and if it fits in your schedule, please call Tanya Baker, and she will be more than happy to assist you to register and to make whatever the necessary arrangements are. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item is good news from our schools, and I'd like to ask Ms. Joy Barrett Hall to come forward, introduce herself, and to share with us what she does at Ridgeview High School. I had the pleasure of attending their induction ceremony on Monday, and it was beautiful, and I'm glad to see many of these students here, and many of our parents here also supporting our students. Joy, good to have you with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having us. I'm Joy Hall, as she said. I am the beta sponsor here at Ridgeview High School. And I'm sure you're aware that beta is a club that encourages students to maintain a high academic average while also encouraging acts of community service, upholding outstanding character, and also displaying leadership. And every year, the Beta Club holds a state convention, and unfortunately this year our convention was made virtual. We were all set to go and be in person, and kind of the last minute they made it virtual, but that didn't stop our students from performing extremely well at this convention. So we'd like to recognize their accomplishments at the state convention. And many of these students are also planning to attend the national convention and participate at nationals. So hopefully we'll be bringing home some national titles as well. First, I'd like to recognize for winning the Virginia State Scholarship, Miss Lee McCowan, and y'all can come up here with me once I mention.
And Lee, if you'll just stand in front until we all get to see you. And Miss Edwards, do you mind taking a picture of our students that are present? Sorry, come on in front. Just right here.
Our Virginia president-elect, this is the second president we've had here at Ridgeview High School, and I want to say our 7th officer, could be 6th from Ridgeview High School, is Miss Kirsten Brooks, and she will serve as the Virginia State President for the 2022-2023 school year. 3rd place, 12th grade Agri-Science, Hayden Hickman. We also earned a 2nd place in Club Trading Pin. She cannot be here tonight, she has a tennis match, but 1st place in Division I color photography, which is for 9th and 10th grade students, was Miss Madison Mullins. 1st place in fiber art, also at the tennis match, Miss Rachel Mullins, and that is for Division I, 9th and 10th grade. 1st place in living literature, and this is a contest where the students have to pick a scene from a piece of literature and act as wax figures depicting this scene from literature. And they did the scene where Charlie Bucket receives the golden ticket from Willy Wonka. It was really cute. And that was Mr. Landon Hickman, Hayden Hickman, Diamond Delaney, Harmony Oquin, Lee McCown, and also could not be with us, Cadence Lee. Cadence also earned 2nd place in on-site painting. Those students are given a time frame where they have to create a piece of artwork on-site, and she actually won 4th place at nationals last year with that as well, so we're really proud of her. 3rd place portfolio, Mr. David Farmer. 1st place in social studies, 10th grade, also at a tennis match, Mr. Landon Couch. 3rd place in Spanish 10th grade at a track meet, Jocelyn Brown. 1st place, Division I woodworking, Clayton Hickman. And as part of the campaign for state office, the students are required to also have a skit that goes along with their campaign. Our campaign skit won 2nd place. And members of the skit included Daquan Prophet, Diamond Delaney, Lee McCown, Hayden Hickman, Harmony Oquin, Jocelyn Brown, Cadence Lee, and J.C. Dingus. And I would also like to add that Kirsten plans on running for national president, so we're really excited about that.
I always like just to take a few moments and recognize our parents and our family members that are here that support your children. So if you would please stand and be recognized to our board, and we thank you. We thank you so much. We know. And if you'll kindly just turn and we'll take your picture. You have to act like you like each other, so. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please help me to recognize our Beta Club winners and officers?
I actually forgot one. I'm so sorry. Lee is our outgoing state vice president as well, so I wanted to add that in before we left. I apologize.
Congratulations to all of you.
Yes. Ms. Hall, you are welcome. You and our students and our parents are welcome to stay, or if you have other activities, okay, you can certainly use this term. Yes, ma'am, we understand. Thank you again for attending. It's always good to have students here, so.
Crowd of people here for all right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next item is student enrollment and attendance report. Ms. Martin.
That's a hard act to follow.
Yes, it is.
As we have all year long, we're up and down, up and down. We're down this month, unfortunately. Hopefully we're up next month to follow our pattern. We're down 6. Again, we're down from the previous year, but hopefully with COVID seeming to be on the outskirts now, that by next year we're going to go see some trends going back up. The good news is our percentages, as far as our attendance, our percentages seem to be going up, which is great. In your packet, which is green, so I had to write it on my packet to make sure, is our percentages are going up. As usual, I gave you a breakdown of our enrollment by school, and also the list of, by school, the withdrawals and also the entries. We do have some movement within the school districts, students transferring from Clintwood to Irvington, from Irvington to Sandlake, etc. So I included that as well. Are there any questions about attendance?
It's not. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Okay. Our next agenda item is the new elementary school construction project update.
I'd like to ask Mr. Burge if he would come to the front, please. Hey, Tim, good to have you with us, sir.
Well, good evening. Hope everyone's had a great day today. The project in the month of April has progressed well. All the brickwork was completed, and most of the cleaning of the brick is done now. The window frames that are in the punched openings are just about all in now. Most of the glass is in, and they're continuing to install that as it comes in. Miscellaneous framing on the exterior is nearing completion, and the air barrier has been installed around the building. Curtain wall frames are being built off-site right now, and will be installed in the next few weeks. The metal panels for the north side have been measured and are in production and will be installed in the next week or two. The elevator is also supposed to come in about 2 weeks to install. The metal panels on the west side will be ready to be measured by the end of the week. Rooftop units have all been set on the roof, and the contractors continue to tie in ductwork to those units. Most all the ductwork in the school has been run and insulated. The plumbing roughing is continuing. They are also insulating those lines, and as well as the mechanical room for the piping that's being welded together. They are making good progress with that as well. The Framing in the building is pretty much done inside. Drywall is nearing completion of being hung on the first floor, and most of it, or probably 80% of it, has been finished. They did get the drywall hung in the cafeteria the gym last week, so they're in the process of getting that finished. Prime paint is going on the walls that have been finished, as well as cinder blocks have been block filled and first coat of paint. Mechanic rooms, they've painted those so they can complete the work in those areas where they can't reach after they get all the pipe in the way. Outside, the curb and gutter has been installed. Maybe there's a little bit left, but not much. And they will be starting the stone in the next week or so. They have backfilled the curbs in the front of the parking lot. They were paving out front, I'm sure, as y'all saw when you came in this evening, that they were getting the pavement done out front. Paving will start sometime in May for the parking lot, at least the base coat, not the final coat. That'll be put down just before the school is completed. So anyway, things are going well as far as the construction goes. The electricians are continuing to rough in home runs. Most all the rough in is complete. So things are going well out there and continuing to move forward on the project. The budget is still, we're still in budget. As you can see, we've spent over half thus far of the budget, and things are going well with that as well. Few photos to show tonight. This is the main entrance, probably earlier in the month. As you can see, you got the brick, the plywood on. Where that plywood is where the ceramic tile is going. It looks like the concrete that's on this building, the precast. And you can kind of see there on the right some windows. Next. Here's some curb and gutter that's been installed, along with, you can see the windows there on the north side, window frames installed. Next. Again, some more curb and gutter. Next. Here's a little later picture in the month from the front. Next. Here's the west side a few weeks ago. This has now been plywooded and ready for, and most of that area has been installed. This is the side that they should have ready by the end of the week in order to measure for the metal panels. Next. This is the gym. As you can see, the wall on the left there has already been primed. That's a cinder block wall. You can see the other two walls there have been drywalled, and the finishing has begun. Next. Here's another picture of the here's a picture of the stage and the state it's in at this time. Next. Here's the main stair at the front entrance. You can see that the block wall has been primed. The ceiling, the metal deck that's going to be exposed has been painted. Next. And here's another picture of the art room ready for drywall. They're holding off in here until we actually get those brick walls in, those big openings, so we don't get water damage. Next.
I think that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Any more? All right. Any questions on the progress so far? And then I'll comment about the addition here in a moment.
Mr. Burge, I noticed that up front, they're working on the
Yes.
the road. Would you like to kind of share with the board and our public?
Yeah, they are, today they actually put in the base coat on the front. As y'all can see when you came in today, the curb was poured last week. They will finish that up, then it'll be restriped. I know the principals wanted the new pattern in place before school was out to kind of start getting people used to the new routing. The lines will be repainted. The road that comes around the west side there, south and west side of the building, will now become a two-lane road instead of a 2 lanes out. And the traffic for it'll actually going to help the parking for the high school because they can turn left there and get into the parking lot rather than going to the right and go where all the cars are lined up in the morning dropping off the children. And then the traffic will continue to go to the right for the middle school. I think the routing, once it's completed and lined out and everything's understood, I think that it's going to be much better. Plus, that will be the entrance to the middle school, the new elementary school. You will go left and go around back to get into the elementary school.
Thank you.
As far as the addition, they received the insulated concrete forms last week. A rebar came last week. So they are starting to tie some rebar up, getting ready. The drawings are almost finalized so that we can get some submittals going. The footers have pretty much been finalized already. We're waiting on a little bit more information from the civil engineer so we can start building the pad, and then they can actually start putting footers in. And I know that y'all found out about the delay last week, and this way, now that the whole school should be completed when it's opened instead of opening this fall and then having to work around the school activities. So I think in a way it's kind of a plus, but yet it's not. But I think that in the end it'll make a good job. That way we can have all the grass done, we can have everything finished, and before school starts, it'll be nice and pretty when the school opens. Any other questions?
Any updates at all on the switchgear? We're still in the
We are
optional.
still, we've had calls yesterday, today. We work on it every day. We are continuing to look at our options, and hopefully we can get this gear in here sooner than later, and we can continue moving forward with our work.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Tim, just for clarification, at this point, it's clear that no matter, the best case scenario, we're still going in 2023. So that's a given at this point.
I think, unless you really want to go in at the middle of the year, which I don't think you really do, I think it's pretty much a given that it'll open next fall.
And just for the board's clarification, the options that we're exploring would allow us to buy the switchgear, perhaps at a premium, but we're going to continue to move forward to do that because it's within the budget, and we don't want to slow down the tradesmen that are here working because we can't really proceed until we have conditioned air. Is that kind of the sum and substance of it?
This way, if we do pay the premium for this one, it's really one piece of switchgear and a bunch of breakers. It will allow the school to continue to be built because as soon as we can get the power on, we can get conditioned air, we can keep everybody moving forward. Now, we've got work we can do until the switchgear gets here still. Plus, we've got the new addition going on at the same time. So that should help keep the manpower on site, because what you don't want to do is lose the manpower and then hope that they'll come back when you're ready for them. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, that's kind of where we're looking at right now, trying to just get things moving, keep things moving forward instead of stopping. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Tim.
Board members, our next two agenda items address the new elementary school, and we'll combine those for discussion. The agenda items are discussion of the potential changes due to the delay of the new elementary school and the opening of the new elementary school with the transition of Irvington Elementary presentation. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you, sir. In your packet, you will first see a chart like this. And as we go through, we'll take care of the calendar first. Last week, when we announced the delay in the new elementary school, of course, we had several questions regarding will the calendar be revised? And there were discussions among our board members and among our staff. On Monday morning, we met with our administrative and central office staff. And what the consensus was then is to survey our parents and to survey our staff to at least gauge their thoughts on this. As you recall, we approved the calendar in March, and so it was early, as Mr. Mullins has reminded me, and pride comes before the fall. We were so proud of that, but then the delay came. So we did open the survey up on Monday. We placed it on our DCPS website, on our Facebook page, and then it was emailed to our staff. So the first calendar option, as you see, are our parents. We had 304 responses. And overwhelmingly, 224 or 73.77% of our parents or guardians, community members felt that please leave the start of school on Monday, August the 22nd, with no other revisions to the calendar. If you look at the staff, we had 217 staff members to respond, and as you see, we had 89 or 40.8% again saying, please leave the school, or voting to leave the school on Monday, August 22nd as a start. The other options for beginning school on August the 15th received 12.5% for the parents, and beginning school on August the 8th was 13.8%. For staff, it was 35.3% beginning school on August the 15th, and 23.9% to begin school on August the 8th. With these survey results, Mr. Chair and board members, we're going to recommend that we leave the beginning of school to Monday, August the 22nd, with no further revisions to the 22-23 school calendar. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Is any discussion of the calendar? It's like August 22nd it is.
Yeah, and since we've already voted on the calendar,
Right.
I don't think the board will need to vote on that, but I just wanted to share that with the board. The next part of our presentation has to do with naming of the new elementary school, and I think I've been the one that has been probably urging our board to do that. The new elementary school, we've named it that for over a year, and it's time to give it identity. In our presentation in March, the recommendation was to name the school Ridgeview Elementary School, to adopt the Wolfpack as the mascot, and to also then adopt the colors, which are Ridgeview blue or electric blue, black, and gray. So that will be, as I understand, in a motion that the board will consider in the next agenda item. So that will be our recommendations for the name, the mascot, and the colors. Last week, we held a public hearing on the transitioning of Irvington Elementary School to the new elementary school. And to my recollection, we had no persons to speak at the public hearing regarding that issue. This past week, I visited with the Irvington Elementary School staff, and they emphasize what our board has emphasized, that they would like to know if that is the way, so that they can begin to celebrate its last year, if that's the way the board votes that, or they can just begin planning toward that. So that, I just asked the board to consider two things. Number one, naming the school, and along with that will be the mascot and also the school, adopting the school colors. And then also discussion of transitioning Irvington Elementary School when the new elementary school opens. Mr. Mullins, did you have anything you needed to add?
No, I think to the extent there's any motion that comes out of the board that would name the school, Ridgeview Elementary School, also implicit in that would be that we're adopting the school colors and the mascot. But no, I think this board has discussed it many times. I really don't have anything to add legally.
I was just going to bring up, I guess, this is more related to the calendar prior to, I guess, discussion of the naming the school. Has there been any considerations or recommendations related to having a longer summer and the with our 12-month contract employees, of possibly adjusting the schedule? I know that's done sometimes during the summer when there's no summer school. Has there been any considerations of that issue?
I don't know if I heard the question, Mr. Hackney, but you're saying for 12-month employees?
That's right, yes.
Extending their vacation?
No, it would be just a summer, they're adjusting their schedule during the summer, since, I mean, typically there's not a lot of downtime without summer school. This summer, I think there probably will be more, and I don't know if that's been discussed.
That has not been discussed up to this point because we were going to be in quite a haste to have summer school and open up the new elementary school and move one or perhaps two schools.
Certainly.
And so there had not been any kind of discussion with that. We do have a longer summer, but we also have 5 weeks, Mr. Mullins? 5 weeks of summer school every day. So that will begin on May 26th and go through July the 1st. And so there has not been any discussion. And you're talking about perhaps shortening the workday or shortening the week. Is that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, and that would just be based on, precedents set in the past. I don't know if we did that last year or if we've done that in a while, but I think that has been something that was looked at if, during the times when there's not summer school. And this year, like I said, our summer vacation for students will be probably a few weeks, close to a month longer than normal.
I think, and I'm sorry, help me, I don't remember doing a shorter work week last summer, did we? I don't recall that, but I don't believe that we did, but we can certainly look at a 4-day week, 10 hours a day, those kinds of things. And the way that we've done that before is that some schools elect to do that. Some schools want to keep the 5 days. It's just but we'll certainly, if that's the direction of the board, we'll certainly look at that and talk it over with our administrators. I think we have an administrative meeting next Friday.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Did I answer your question? Is that what you were referring to?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Robinson?
Did we need the motion on the new school name?
I think we need a motion on the new school name, and I think also I know that each of you have indicated a desire to make sure your public knows where we stand, where you stand, as far as transitioning Irvington and Sandlick in 2023, consistent with what Mr. Byrd said. And then I think the desire, Ms. Robinson, is we stop referring to this school as the new elementary school and actually give it an identity. So those are the things we're looking at, and I know you might consider adding to that. This board has consistently said that we want every elementary student to have a new school, and as soon as we can find a way to get Clintwood into a new school, that's the goal. So to the extent that's your, what the board considers you want to do, someone should make a motion to that effect.
You want to read that? Thank you, Mr. Mons. Do we have a motion?
We may have two motions on that,
Two motions.
unless we're all going to put that into one.
It's all in that one paragraph, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's in, the name of the school's in it. I'll go ahead and move that we name the new elementary school Ridgeview Elementary, and that we express to the public that although we have suffered what appears to be a one-time delay because of the supply chain issues associated with those electronic components required, the school board does intend to transition Sandlick Elementary School and Irvington Elementary School into the Ridgeview Elementary School in August of 2023, and that we continue to explore options to bring Clintwood Elementary students to Ridgeview Elementary at the earliest possible point in time.
Second. Mr. Hackney, can we tag on to your motion also the
School colors.
school color
I
and mascot?
meant to include that, but we didn't discuss that. I'm fine with the recommended school colors that are the same as the middle school and high school, electric blue, black, gray.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I would make an addendum to that motion and so that we recommend we adopt the school colors.
Thank you, sir. Heard a second, right?
Second.
2 seconds. You're good. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Our next agenda item is the update on the 2022-23 budget. Ms. Taylor. I think it's off on you, Mr. Taylor.
There you go. Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, give you the shortest budget update in history. We have no update on the budget. Virginia General Assembly has still not adopted a state budget for the 22-24 biennium. They were set to reconvene this morning. We don't have any estimate on when they expect to have a state budget adopted. There is a possibility that it may not be until June, so we are just in a holding pattern on that, and as soon as we know something, we will let you know.
The next agenda item is also for Ms. Taylor.
The 457B retirement option update.
Yes. Currently, Dickenson County Public Schools offers our employees 3 different types of a 403B retirement plan option, but not a 457B retirement option. We recommend that we would add a 457B plan
to our employees beginning in this fiscal year, which is what we are planning to do. We're working on the details on that now. Just to give you some information on that, the advantages to our employees of a 457B plan is that there is no 10% early, no 10% penalty for early withdrawal prior to age 59 and a half. As you are well aware, many teachers and school employees can reach their retirement level way earlier than employees can in the corporate world. So that is a definite benefit. Once they're separated from employment, the funds are available without that penalty, regardless of their age at retirement. Another benefit of the 457B is that there are higher maximum tax deferrals with special catch-up provisions. This year, actually, it is up to $41,000 deferred from income taxes, which would also be of benefit to our employees. This plan is also being offered in neighboring counties, including Dickenson, Wise, Washington, Lee, Smith, Pulaski, Carroll, Russell, Bland, Buchanan, Giles, and Carroll counties. It is being offered in Bristol, Wytheville, Hillsville, Harrisburg, and Marion. So we just wanted to update you that we have been able to find another employee benefit to add to our arsenal and hopefully increase employee satisfaction and retention.
So, Mr. Taylor, there's no cost to the school system for 457. It's just another option.
It's just another option that is for employees only, and there's no responsibility from the school system.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is the approval of the 22-23 special education plan and budget. Ms. Edwards.
Do we need to add that or not? Motion. We need a motion.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Edwards will have the next two. That's why she's carrying a big folder. She will have the next two agenda items also.
And let me interrupt you just a second, Ms. Edwards.
Sure.
Just to be sure, we don't need a motion on 457B plans at all.
That's right. I looked at that, and we've already procured it. It's just, as she said, another tool in the toolbox, and it's already there. We're just going to make it available to employees.
All right. Thank you. Sorry, Ms. Edwards.
That's okay. Good evening, board members. It is that time of year again to look at our special education plan and budget and our CTE plan and budget. You were sent copies of the full plans or a link to the plans in your notes, but I have also a summary for you. I think you have a copy of that summary as well, and I'll go through it quickly and answer any questions that you have. First of all, the special education plan and budget for 22-23. The Part B, Section 611, flow-through special education grant budget and application for 22-23 was prepared based upon last year allocation of $540,648. We do not get our final allocation until about July, so we have to prepare a budget based on last year's allocation. The Part B, Section 619, preschool special education budget and application for 22-23 was also prepared based upon last year's allocation of $30,954. The allocation, as you can see, you have a chart where you have the allocations broken down into object codes. The majority of our budget is spent on personal services, which includes all of our personnel, and for $308,945.09, we pay partial salaries for 10 special education teachers, 2 speech-language pathologists, and additional staff to support the speech program, partial salary for an IEP transition coordinator, school psychologist, part-time special education teachers, therapists, and paraprofessionals as needed. Then you see the next item, Code 2000, is your employee benefits. We pay partial benefits for those 10 employees that I mentioned and the IEP coordinator. Then you have purchase services. Purchase services is code 3000. It is 145,461.18, and included in those services are any of the purchase services that we provide, including psychological speech, translation, behavior, autism, extended school year, equipment repairs, contracted transportation, substitutes, and additional staff as needed to provide those contracted services. And then you have in code 6000, which is materials and supplies, 21,500, and basically I allocate a certain amount, usually about $250 per teacher, to buy instructional supplies each year. So that's what that amount is for. So the total budget is also includes $12,459.99 that we're required to set aside for called our proportionate set aside, which is for our parentally placed homeschool children, and we have to set that aside, and we do not hire additional staff when that occurs. We use our current staff, so it is in code 1000. The total proposed budget for the upcoming year is $540,648. And again, our 6B, Section 19, which is our preschool funds, we again have personal services for $20,015, and again, that same amount is included in our staff that we use. We have a transition program. We pay partial salary for our teacher. We also have some other contracted folks that we provide support for as well, and that's included in our purchase services of $4,547, and then we also have materials and supplies because we buy diapers and other supplies for our preschool programs, so that's $6,392, and that's for our preschool transition program, our special ed programs. So again, that's $30,954. The full plan was provided for you for review, so if there are no other questions, I would ask that if you have a motion to approve the budget as presented, or I will answer any questions that you may have.
I'll make that motion. Do you hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you. The next one is our Perkins plan for 22-23. And again, I just have a brief summary in your notes to tell you how the funding is allocated. The plan was prepared on, again, the allocation from last year, $56,700, and it's divided up in the following ways. Professional development, $2,500. Academic support for students in special populations, $1,500. Student certifications, $4,000. CTSO, travel for students in special populations, and the advisor, $2,000. Equipment, $30,000, which is the bulk of our Perkins plan. This year, we had to add virtual learning supports because we've had to buy a lot of virtual supports for our instructional programs. So I put $14,000 again in the budget for next year because I suspect we'll continue to need those supports. And then the administration is, the 5% of my salary is $2,700, so a total of $56,700. So again, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. And if not, we're asking for your approval of the Carl D. Perkins Career Technical Education Plan and Budget for 22-23 as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
And to tag on to the last thing, just so you know, you also got a copy of a comprehensive local and needs assessment. Every 2 years, we're required to do that. So I did give you a copy of that, and it basically means that we are required to look at our programs every 2 years, and the comprehensive local and needs assessment document was provided to you for review, and it's just an informational item. Okay? Any other questions or comments for me? Okay, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Ms. Edwards. All right. Our next agenda item is the approval of VSBA policies. Ms. Martin.
Thank you. Earlier in the month, sent you copies of 11 policies. Sent you copies of the red line, which is basically, it shows you what corrections will be made, and then copies of the corrected. Most of those that we sent were either the titles were changed or small text or verbiage. Some of them were references were changed. We do ask that if you have any questions with those that were sent to you after your review, we can answer those questions now.
Any questions from Ms. Martin? I make the motion.
Hearing no questions, I ask for approval.
Okay. Mr. Razzak has made a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Our next agenda item is the approval of surplus band equipment. Mrs. Robinson.
I feel like I need to be playing an instrument here, but the Ridgeview Band Program is requesting the school board's approval to sell the following band equipment as surplus. The band has received new equipment, and Mr. McCullough, who does an excellent job, has found persons and band programs in schools that are in need of the equipment that we are wanting to declare surplus to sell. So we just recommend the board's approval of the surplus band instruments.
So moved. Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, motion carries. So that concludes our open session, and it's now time for board comment. Mr. Hackney, you want to start us off?
Well, I'll be brief. I'm just glad to have the winners from Beta here tonight. Doing a great job. They have a great leadership at our school with Joy, and we appreciate them being here tonight. And definitely thank Mr. Burge for providing us updates on what's going on. We've had some, tough news or some setbacks, but I believe that there's, it's been mentioned numerous times, there's a silver lining. I believe this is all going to work out for the best. I know my cup's half full. Looking forward to the progress and seeing where we go next. But like I say, I reiterate, I think that even with the little obstacle we ran into, that it's going to, in the end, turn out for the benefit of everybody in our school system. Thank you.
Well, I certainly would agree. The Beta Club sure did well. They obviously have lightened the path, and that takes some hard work. It's tough competition that they face. I just hope that everybody is ready for the SOLs, and our folks all come every day that can, and hope they stay healthy. Hope our students are protected all the way to the end and well taught before these SOLs come. That's a strain on those folks, but I think they'll meet the challenge despite all the interruptions we've had. It's not just us that are in this bucket, it's the whole country basically. And I just know our folks have worked hard to keep them up to par, and I simply hope the results are a testament to all that good work that they have done.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mentioned the Beta group as well. It was great to see them here. Very proud of their accomplishments, but on top of that even more, and I'm sure their parents would agree that all those trophies and the spots that they won, but the fact that organization, they have to display some leadership and some character and those type of things, and those are things that are not tested on an SOL, but probably the most valuable things that our teachers supply to our students. I'd like to mention this one time. I kind of know, I spent today SOL testing today, and so I know what our students are and our teachers are going through at the moment. I know it's It's a very rough time, but students seem to persevere, and our students and our teachers as well. And, we just wanted to know that we appreciate them right now, that this is, it's tough, but it's a tough job. And, I think it's exciting to see what is going on with their elementary school now. Finally, we got a name, which is a great deal, and we'll be able to provide something great for children in Dickenson County.
I also like to congratulate the beta winners. They certainly put in a lot of work of it, and congratulate others that were in it but didn't come out winners. I'm disappointed at the need to delay work on the new elementary edition, but understand we will enjoy it when it gets here, I'm sure.
I, too, would like to echo everybody's successes with the Beta Club and their successes, and Joy's done a great job with that program. I also believe that the situation with the switchgear, I, too, believe that there's going to be a silver lining with that we'll have more time, and sometimes things happen for reasons. So, and I'll just end it with that.
Mr. Hicks, if I may, we are sitting on the set of Never Never Land, and so I'd like to invite our board members and our public and our community to the play this coming Friday and Saturday. I believe it's at 7 o'clock. It will be right here in the auditorium, and so please come. You will be amazed at the talent of our children and Ms. Nip, our drama teacher. Also, I want to our band, Ridgeview Band, will be performing on Sunday, May the 15th, from 3 to 4 o'clock, and that will be Mother's Day, so that will be a nice touch to many of our mothers and our families with the band concert. Our bacalaureate is also scheduled on Sunday, May the 15th, and I'm not certain about that hour. It's usually about 6, and so I also invite you and invite our seniors, our families, to those 3 occasions and events at the end of the year. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. That concludes our open session. This time, we'll consider going into closed session. Pursuant to Section 2.2-3711, Paragraph A of the Code of Virginia, there will be a closed session for the purpose of, 1, employment issues relating to discussion or consideration of specific individuals for employment as part-time aides, retirement, and resignation pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1. And 2, to consult with legal counsel regarding the investment of public funds associated with school construction and consultation regarding actual or probable litigation, along with consultation regarding specific matters requiring legal advice pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A 6, 7, and 8 of the Code of Virginia. Do I hear a motion to go to closed session?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.